Welcome. You're watching Retire Your Way. I'm Mark Henry, the co-host. And of course, that means I'm joined with the man, the myth, the legend himself, 𝗵𝗫. And I joke with you to have fun with that. Yeah. But Ben, you really are. You're the founder and CEO of 𝗵𝗏. I've known you for a long time as 𝗏𝗧r Financial. But, you know, this rapid growth you've had, you had to rebrand.
Yeah. It's exciting times for sure. You know, being able to see dreams realized, but then out even growing what the original dreams were, and then having to rebrand to really encompass what it is that we are doing and what we want to be able to do with our clients. And so 𝗵𝗏 was such a natural change for us because it's what we've been striving for so long.
Sure.
And we want our clients to, you know, as we do Retire Your Way, that's your dream. It's powered now by 𝗵𝗏.
Yeah, I just love it. I absolutely love it. And, you know, again, we're going to jump into the show. If you're new to the show, you're in for a big treat today because it's extremely educational. And if you'll stay tuned with this, my promise to you is that you will go away going, I'm glad I watched because I learned something. And I think every week you provide that value to the listeners, whether they ever come see you or not. Yeah. They're going away going, and I hear that around when we do this show, that people love listening because they say, you know, I learned something. You know, I learned about his ears. You know, but that's a Division I wrestler for you, right? Yeah, I'm sure you hear that a lot, right? Yep. I remember when I was young, my dad always told me never pick a fight with a guy with funny ears. Yeah. I know now why he said that, right?
Probably good lessons.
You heard, it was good lesson. Hey, you learn a lot from your dad when you grew up in the South. And so there you go. So listen, we're going to jump in and this is an unscripted show, but I did take some notes for this one because I actually prepared, Ben, when you asked me to come on and do this show with you, and I was honored to come on again. But, you know, the idea that we live in this age, this information age, where we can go on the internet, you know, what do they used to call it? Back when we first came out, it was called the information superhighway.
Exactly.
We were going to have this box that we could go on and ask any question we want and get an answer. So I did some retirement searches about common questions that I hear around the country.
This should be interesting.
Oh, it was interesting, the results I got, because, you know, we're not doing a Mythbusters show. That's probably a copyrighted term, so I'm not stealing that, being very clear here. But I do want to talk about this idea that can we believe everything we read on the internet?
That's so interesting.
This is going to be fun, right? I think if you're watching, you're going to enjoy this one today. So let's jump in. So here we go. Is it true, Ben, in your opinion, and you've got a lot of experience doing this, what, 16 years or something, right?
For sure.
All right. Is it true that when you retire, you won't need as much income as when you were working? The number that I found quoted was 75 to 80%.
Interesting. Well, Mark, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Right? You have a lifestyle, you're working.
Yeah.
When you retire, which 20% are you wanting to give up?
Of my lifestyle?
Yeah. When you have all the freedom of time, by the way, to do the other things that you've been sacrificing.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bust that myth right now, at least when it comes to Mark Henry. I'm not willing to give. I like my life the way it is right now, and I was actually hoping one day if I had extra time to do more things in retirement that I choose to do, and those things will probably cost money. Hello?
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way. What's interesting to me is I feel like some of these statistics are so boxed in, they're so cookie cutter to say, yeah, okay, maybe you're no longer spending 100% of what you were spending when you were working because you're not saving to your 401k anymore or something like that. And those are some basic rules. All right. But now we have all this extra time, all the things that we've sacrificed to accumulate the wealth that we have. What do we want to do with it? And that's what Retire Your Way is all about. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, right? Do you want to travel? Do you want to bless your grandkids? Do you want to go golfing, fishing, boating, shooting, whatever it is, whatever your dream is, gardening, I don't know. There's a lot, those are just some of the ones that pop into my head, you know, that I have some clients come in and do some things. Hey, what does travel mean?
Right.
Is it you want to get an RV and travel around the country, or you want to go hit 4 or 5 trips overseas? And that costs different amounts of money, and it's tailored to what it is that each of us want to do.
All right, well, I think we can just go ahead. I'm getting my pen out. I'm going to tell you, at least with me, I don't know if I'm special or not, but yeah, I don't want any part of cutting my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
don't either.
that one may not actually be true. All right, so this one I thought was very interesting as well, and this had a lot of responses where you'd see the question in there and people would be commenting.
Okay.
If something happens to me, my spouse won't need as much money in retirement.
Wow.
And
Why?
this was common.
But why? Okay.
Well, the comments were, well, it's cheaper for one person to live, and I was like, well,
Really?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I'll be, in my experience, and this is just, sitting down with people, and we always start with your goals and your dreams. We start with husbands and wives, and so it's important for both of them to be there because, unfortunately, sometimes what happens is one person handles the money and the other person wants to stay out of it. But when we look at retirement planning, right, Mark, through the distribution phase, when we have the time to do all of these extra things, both people have to be present because it can't just be the husband's goal or the wife's goal only. But, honestly, when a spouse passes away, we're already going to lose one of our Social Securities. So having other things dry up.
So the income already changed.
The income automatically changed. What we need to do is typically replace it because what we're not factoring in here, at least I don't know if Google's looking at this or not, but hey, the cost of living gets higher and higher every single year due to inflation. And what about taxes?
Well, yeah, but taxes, a spouse passing away doesn't change taxes, does it?
Good.
Why?
Because you're single filer now. So we don't think about things
Wait a
like that.
second.
Oh, yeah.
So you just moved from the married filing
jointly
to single.
Yes.
And single's the highest tax bracket there is.
There sure is.
Well, oh my gosh.
So interesting enough, what a lot of
People aren't
don't.
talking about this.
They don't. It's not. It's so wild to me that why can't we do that? You want to plan for protecting your spouse? I do.
Of
I
course
love my
do.
spouse. I love my kids. I want them
Yeah.
to be protected when I am gone, if I go first. But the flip side of it is we don't know which one's going to pass away first. But at the end of the day, when you become a single filer, all of the extra income that you're getting, if you haven't planned for the RMDs, that those are going to continue to come in. A spouse inherits an IRA. They still have to take that same amount of money out. And if we haven't prepared for it, that could push them into higher tax brackets. And oh, by the way, if we are at 90-year tax lows with an all-time high national debt and 72 cents of every tax dollar we pay today covers Medicare, right? Medicaid, Social Security, and national debt, right? Where else are we going to get this money? It's going to come from us at some point. Well, what about 20 years from now if taxes are higher? You pass away, single filer, and now your spouse, because they had the even equal amount of income, now is actually keeping less because of how taxes are impacting them.
So they automatically have an income loss because of Social Security.
Yep.
They're in a potentially higher tax bracket because they're filing single. So now the government's taking more of their tax dollars, leaving them with a bigger income gap.
Oh, we forgot about risk. What happens if you've been handling all the money, and your spouse doesn't know how much risk they have? And they are grieving. They're not paying attention to what's happening, and we go through a recession. There's a lot of stuff that can happen in a very short period of time.
It's a lot to digest. We got to go to commercial break, but I want to come back on this topic. This is impactful. Listen, there's a number on your screen. There's also a QR code. That's that funny little box to the right hand of the number. You're allowed to scan that, and that's an easy way to get in contact. But the phone number right now that's so important for you, 855-855-7655. Again, the number to call right now, 855-855-7655. Ben and his amazing team of professionals have agreed to accept the next 15 callers. If you've saved, let's say, $250,000 or more for retirement, that's certainly a good start. They will bring you in and sit down with you and help you start building your own confident financial future by providing you with a written retirement plan, not some cookie cutter plan, a plan based around your hopes, your dreams. They'll talk about things like an income plan, a tax analysis, see if you can potentially lower your taxes in retirement. And they're going to do all this for you absolutely complimentary with no obligations of any kind other than one. You have to pick up the phone right now and call 855-855-7655. Hey, stay tuned. We've got so much more coming up on Retire Your Way.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way. I'm your co-host, Mark Henry, and I'm joined with the founder of 𝗵𝗏, 𝗵𝗏 himself. Ben, I'm having a fun time, but I got to tell you, that was a powerful segment right there.
Yeah, a lot of serious stuff in there.
I mean, it is a lot of serious stuff. And you know, again, it seems so logical that we would turn to the internet, the great tool, but so much misinformation.
Yeah.
And how do you sift through it? I mean, it's a lot.
It's hard.
I mean, it really is. It's hard. It's where it just, I see this. And so I'm going to bring up a very controversial one right now. When I typed this word in, it's the word we're not supposed to talk about on the air. And, and it's going to elicit a lot of emotions. And listen, if you're watching right now and I say this word, it's not a 4-letter word, so you're okay. The kids can be in the room, although maybe they shouldn't. But don't tune us out, because I really want to get Ben's answer on this.
I'm interested.
Annuities.
Annuities.
There you go.
We got annuity breath now.
Yeah, I mean, literally, when I put this in, I saw things you can't believe. I saw the I hate annuities, never use. I saw the put all your money in them. I saw everything in between. And it really, and then people's opinions. My grandfather lost all his money in annuities, and then other people saying that their grandfather did great with them. And I was like, what in the world? It was like, I don't know how many pages I could have got on this, but it was overwhelming.
There's a lot, and there's so much controversy, just like a lot of other topics. And so let's define what an annuity is. An annuity is a savings account with an insurance company. Now, the word in front of the word annuity tells you how it works and operates. Now, there's really 4 main types. We have the SPIA. I know it sounds funky, but it stands for a single premium immediate annuity. Here's what I want you to think about: income. Okay. Then you got fixed annuities, which are like CDs. Are CDs bad?
No.
I don't know. There's sometimes
might be good
some
for
people,
somebody.
Yeah, somebody's good for somebody, maybe not. I don't know.
My grandfather used them a long time ago, and he kind of liked them.
So a fixed annuity is like a CD. You're trading time for a fixed guaranteed rate of return, and then after that time commitment's over, the funds are liquid and you can reinvest them. So good, bad, right, or wrong, maybe it fits in your space, maybe it doesn't. What about a variable annuity? What does variable mean? It fluctuates. That's the stuff that's in sub-accounts.
It can go up and it can go down.
It's like the market. It's in a sub-account mutual fund, and that would need to be assessed so that you could actually figure out how much risk you have in the variable annuity. Now, the controversy about annuities that I've seen usually is a misunderstanding about which one somebody has. So they always say, annuities have high risk, have high fees. Yes, variable annuities do. You could have fees jam-packed into a variable annuity about 3.5% to 4%. And so normally we would never recommend something like that, because if you're going to take market risk, you might as well do that for less expense. Okay, that's just logical. And then lastly, there's these really kind of cool ones. They're kind of split the difference between the fixed space and the variable space, and they came out I don't know, about 25 years ago, and they're called fixed indexed annuities. Again, how does it work and grow? Your money's fixed. It can't go backwards if the market goes down. Is that a bad thing? No. What happens if the market goes up and you could earn 60, 70% of the up, And then when the market goes back down, your winnings are locked in and you can't go backwards. Now, for some people, they want safe and growth to help keep up with inflation and taxes, but they don't want to take market risk like we talked about on previous shows. Okay. And so with that, a fixed index annuity can be a fantastic addition to somebody's portfolio, not the entire portfolio. Now, why? Annuities have a form of risk. What is it?
I don't know.
Let's talk about it. It's called liquidity risk. No matter what type of an annuity you purchase, they are time-based products, meaning you are committing to a period of time and you're agreeing that you're not going to take out a lump sum more than 10% of what you put in per year. Now, 10% is a pretty generous amount, but if you broke that commitment of time, Mark, you would have what's called a surrender charge. It's like an early withdrawal penalty on a CD. Same concept, but people that try and sell you just one asset class, I want you to be in the market, might say something like, well, you have a surrender charge. Well, yeah. Well, could you lose more than 10% in your portfolio? You can if you surrender the annuity. So what happens? Which type of risk are you more comfortable with? And that is really where we have to look at a balance of risk over time, where we're using the right tool for the right job. And in some cases, an annuity is fantastic. Where I find it to be most useful is income.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, most of you are probably pretty familiar with Social Security.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
You know, my mom is a teacher, or was a teacher. She's retired now.
My daughter's in school to be a teacher.
Awesome. That they are so, I mean, hey, they don't get as much credit, right?
Right.
If you're in the military, if you work for a union, typically you will have this magical word that's very rare today in corporate America called a pension.
Yeah, of course.
It used to be there all the time for us.
Right.
Today, it's very rare. But a pension from a corporation is just an annuity. They drop it in, it's a guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life, and that's all it is. Social Security, guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life. A private pension is going to be some form of an annuity, fixed, variable, or fixed indexed, and you can have a guaranteed income stream like a pension, like Social Security, from your own private wealth bank. And the lump sum, here's the cool part, it still works and grows, and it passes to your family when you pass away.
Well, that doesn't seem bad at all. What am I missing here?
Well, not everybody, Mark, needs income. Everyone needs income, but some people have the pension and the Social Securities, and they're fortunate and blessed enough to have that, and they don't need additional income planning today.
So that wouldn't be appropriate for them.
No, it's designed to be used over time. It's not designed to be used in a lump sum. So we wouldn't want to put money in an annuity. You're going to go buy a house with it. What are you looking at? What are the issues? Well, I had to pay a penalty to get my money out. Well, that should have been explained. That's a lack of education. And unfortunately, this is why we challenge the status quo, Mark. We empower people with knowledge so they can make the decisions for the right tool in the financial space for the right job. If we're trying to do growth, we got to look at mitigating risk, maximizing growth in the market. Do you know your risk speed, custom between 1 and 99? How much are we going to look at? How much risk are you comfortable with? If you don't know that answer, maybe that person's not helping you, right?
Yeah. Might be time to give us a call.
It is. But hey, an annuity, not necessarily bad, not right for everybody, but it's designed for income over time or safe growth that you do not want, money at risk.
I love that.
Yeah.
Here's the number, 855-855-7655. Ben and his amazing team have agreed to accept the next 15 callers if you'll do one thing for me right now. QR code is on the TV. That's that little box. You can scan it or pick up the phone. Better yet, just pick up the phone right now and call. 855-855-7655. Have your appointment calendar ready and book your appointment to come in and get your questions answered. Absolutely complimentary with no obligations of any kind. In fact, you can tell them I said, leave your checkbook at home. Come in and get your confident financial future started with a written financial plan done by a certified financial planner. And it all starts with a simple phone call to 855-855-7655. Operators are standing by. Hey, stay tuned. We've got so much more coming up on Retire Your Way.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way. I'm your co-host, Mark Henry, and I'm with Ben Heiser, the CEO and founder of Thrive. Ben, this has been an amazing show. We've still got a little time left on the clock, and so stay tuned because we've got a lot coming up here. But this is pretty good stuff. We were talking about, busting the internet myths, the things that you read on there and what's really going on. I love this one, though. I've got a couple left that I really want to hit on, but these rules. Yeah. They're just rules. So when I think of a rule, that's something I'm supposed to follow. Yeah. Would you agree with that? Sure. I mean, I think we have society, we have rules, and I'm not one of those that believe they were all made to be broken. But tell me about this one, the 4% rule. Sure. That's all you need to do. Okay. Is it? I mean, I'm just saying, because a lot of controversy when I Googled it, but it said, oh yeah, the 4% rule, just spend 4% of your money and you'll be fine.
Well, as we've talked about, there's a lot of controversy in a lot of different topics today, and it's really your money, so you have to decide. But just so we understand what the rule of 4 is, the 4% rule that we're talking about right now, is this was designed a while back to say, hey, you're in a diversified stock market portfolio, right? We know we have subject to market risk, and we're trying to average a return over time, okay? And so in that, we're supposed to draw 4% of our retirement savings per year and then add inflation to it. What I find is that people misrepresent this and say we can live off of 4% of our savings a year, but we don't forget to factor in the inflation part. And a lot of times people are challenging this today because it's been an old rule for a long time. Yeah. And because of the longevity risk we talked about before, people living longer, sometimes they're saying we would recommend, 3.5%, maybe even 3%, due to the fact that the markets are volatile. They're different. They perform differently today than they did in the past. We're living a lot longer, and we need to factor in inflation and tax increases into this plan as well. And that is not something that the rule of 4 by itself was ever designed to really accomplish. And so the question is if you have your money in the wrong asset class, do you know how much risk you have? Can you answer this question for me? Do you know your max drawdown? What is that? Yeah. It's actually something that we can look at, your existing asset mixture that you currently have, that diversified portfolio, and look at, in the past, how much has it lost? So that you can plan for the future, because history has a tendency of continuing to what?
What's old is new.
We always know that it will repeat itself over time, so wouldn't you want to know? Would you like to be empowered with the knowledge that your current portfolio and how much it could lose? Because how does that impact the rule of 4? Well, what if you're traveling along the speed of the S&P, which is 74 on that scale of risk between 1 and 99? And what is the max drawdown the S&P's lost? Well, it's actually happened during the Great Depression. It was 86%. So, wow. Yeah. So normally, though, 01 and 02 or 08 and 09, the last times we saw extended recessions, right, and it's been an extremely long period of time. I don't know, are we on the roller coaster on the last couple clicks before the uh-oh moment? Who knows? Right. But what we can say is there's no way to eliminate risk if we're going to be in a market portfolio. We can mitigate it through strategy. So how much risk do you have? Do you know the answer? If you don't, it is critical that you do, because if you're living off 4% or you're expecting to, and your portfolio gets cut in half in the next extended recession, whenever that happens, you're now no longer taking out 4%. you're taking out 8%, and that's not a sustainable number.
Well, and that was the thing. Actually, one of these people that responded to that on there said you can't go to the grocery store and spend a percentage.
Exactly.
And I had to think about that.
Man, that's
But
true.
I really liked it. This guy commented and said he thought the 4% rule was ludicrous because how does he go to the grocery store, fill up the shopping cart to feed his family, and then go to the cash register and say, I'm here to spend my 4%?
Mark, and this is critical. One of the things in our industry, and I know we're not trying to beat it up because it's hard. We're in it, but
Right.
we challenge.
I love this industry.
We challenge the status
But it's
quo.
broke.
It is broken, and there is a lot of education that needs to be done. But think about this: a percentage isn't a dollar amount.
That's right.
Okay.
That was his
Yeah.
point.
And so what we do
I
is
just want to spend my 4%.
Exactly. What does that mean? And so we got to quantify what that looks like. So if your expenses are $10,000 a month,
Right.
that is what percentage of your current portfolio mixture with Social Security
2%,
and pensions?
30%.
Could
That's
be.
10,000 is what you
Exactly.
need. Wow, this has been an impactful show. Ben, we're going to get these phone lines open, but with your permission, the calls have been very heavy. Randy said a lot of people haven't been able to get through.
Yeah.
And it just says how much what you're talking about is needed.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if we left the phone lines open for an additional hour today?
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. I just want the people that maybe called earlier, and I know you have a lot of capacity of a big team to take these people, but we're going to go ahead and open these phone lines now. And this is a big number, but we're doing this for the people that couldn't get in earlier today. So here you go. 855-855-7655. We're going to increase the capacity, and we'll take the next 25 callers that call in now. If you've saved, let's say, at least $250,000 or more, this is for you. Ben and his amazing team will sit down with you individually, not a group class. There's no free lunch, no free dinner. You come in and you're going to sit down and get your questions answered and get started on your very own confident financial future. And it all starts with a simple phone call to 855-855-7655. You know you need your questions answered. You know you have questions about your current plan. You know you want to know if it's tax efficient or tax inefficient. Now's the time to take action. Don't put this off. Don't procrastinate. Pick up the phone and call 855-855-7655. Hey, as always, we hope you have found the information today useful and helpful, because that's the actual way Ben intends it. And we encourage you highly to watch again next week on Retire Your Way.